Absolutely.
How can CRM help me and empower me and help me to make more money and close more sales?
Absolutely. So let's think about, product-centric companies. Let's think about a manufacturing business. We have many of those. About 30% of Portugal's GDP is about, companies that are exporting. A part of those is going to be manufacturing and very, very product-centric focus in that way, right? So let's imagine that, you sell based on how your product is and you lead with product right, left, and center. And again, that's great. If you're continually innovating and improving that product, that's probably gonna be great. But my first question would be, and who's gonna sell that product for you? Does it sell itself? Because if your answer was, we did 12 trade shows a year and every month we're on the road to generate new customers and show them how great our product is, guess what? During the pandemic, that's not gonna really cut it out anymore, right? Because we have this that we gotta deal with, like we were saying earlier. So that doesn't cut it anymore. You had to adapt that budget, right? Let's say you allocated that budget to do some marketing and you speak again about in marketing how great your product is. People are gonna come to you, they haven't seen it before. Okay, so do a great video. Eventually, at some point on that flow, on that buyer process journey, you're gonna speak to a salesperson. Now, which salesperson, intuitively we know the answer, but let me ask you this. Who's the salesperson who's gonna sell more? One with a great product and that has even or proportionately a decent amount of skills to be at the level and live up to the promise of that product and walk the customer through that journey. What type of quantities are they gonna want to be managing? What type of initial order are gonna be managing? What is the potential? Because customers never order the biggest chunk at the first time. They want to test, like everything in life, mitigate risk. If a person understands that and knows how to understand critical decision factors from the customer, delivery and shipping, which are now taking longer than ever. Is this for a collection they already want to put out on the road? Or is this something that they want to pilot, to resell to another region where they operate in a reseller model? So your buyer is not going to be the one you're going to be shipping it to. Credit limits. These are conversations that only happen if you really understand the shoes of your customer. If you just say, how many quantities, what's the price, and we negotiate on price, I send it to you, it's intuitively, we know that one salesperson is going to differentiate a lot. And the reason why I tell you this, and this is feedback from customers, qualitative one, I don't have the written data, but we've had customers saying, I come to you because my product is great. I don't need to improve my product anymore. What I need to improve is the salespeople and the way they conduct business.
Most clients, most prospects, buyers that you speak to, they are either living with a status quo, all right? They're either, you might have the most amazing product, but if you're trying to sell it to somebody who lives, in the status quo, is your life ideal? No, but you learn to live with it. And our buyers are exactly the same. You learn to live with it. Why am I going to go through the effort, time, money, and investment, right? Time, effort, and investment to actually change what I'm doing at the moment. So if you're not coming in with insights into how the world of your client works, what problems are they facing? What risks need to be mitigated? What opportunities are they not enjoying today that they could be enjoying if they were only using your solution? Then your conversation is really a non-starter. And that's why, in my view, product sellers find it so difficult, have to show such low rates of conversion, not just from leads into opportunities, but opportunities into closed business, is because they can't position the competitive advantage of their solution to answer to a problem that in the eyes of their buyer is worth solving.
Exactly. And that again is so important, and you put it quite eloquently. You lead with product, you're trying to be interesting. I always say, and I've learned this from a great VP of sales. She told me this: it's so much better to go into any customer or prospect conversation with the mindset of, it's so much more important to be interested than interesting. And if you lead with products, that just speaks millions to the talk track you were going with just a couple minutes ago. And again, to complement that, 80% of the buyer decision is made based on experience. what experience are we really providing if we lead with product? If I just listen superficially to what you are saying so that I can position my product, it looks very self-interested. It's like you listen to certain keywords and you're like, it's like Pavlov's experiment. You listen to, I might need this, and you immediately position this, when in fact, it's only a reason to dig deeper and really understand, for how long have you been dealing with this problem? What have you tried to fix it before? And those are the simple questions that allow you to go one level deeper. And again, I'll just go with a very short story here. A customer that we've been doing some work in, he's in the north of Portugal. He's exporting a lot. His company has been growing for over 35% year over year for the past 3 years, right? So it's quite a lot of growth for a company that is not in a digital high-tech sector. So there's limitations, like production capacity and things. And I was speaking with him 1 month ago, and he was telling me the biggest shift we have done is that we look for hard questions in all of our process. We used to look at, things like quantities, capacity, shipping, understanding where you came from. Right now, we end the sales process with 3 questions, he was telling me. Number 1, what does it mean to you personally that this project goes well, that this order goes well? And they get to the heart motive, the personal motivators of the stakeholder they're speaking to. And then they go a level above and they say, what does it mean for your company to get the project right? And I love the 3rd question they do, which I think is really, really smart, because again, we all have the loss aversion bias. We prefer to avoid loss than to just go after gain, because as you said, the gain comes with those risks of, money, the effort and the time. And the 3rd question is, what does it mean for you if the project goes wrong? And then they really understand, cost of inaction. They quantify problematics of all the process that they weren't able to get to before. And they do this at the end, and they've really enjoyed not only just their higher conversion rates that you're speaking about, but really customers have told them, they have this feedback written, they share with us. I'm at liberty to share. They shared with us, I've never been asked that question before. It's one of the smartest questions I've ever been asked. And they take note of that so that they know they gotta keep doing it. And they use it when they're training their sales team. And again, the tool they use, sure, they're our customer, that's fine. That's all sunshine and rainbows, but it's about people, systems, and processes. They didn't just implement the CRM, they focused on the people and the process that went along and made everything work on that tripod.
I want to set my activity to overachieve my targets this year. How am I using my CRM to help me to do it? Assuming that I am collecting all of this data, all this wonderful data that's coming from social media channels, that's coming from, buyer activity into our website and whatever channels are there. I'm collecting all of that. What do I do with it? How does it empower me?
It's such a great question, Helga. How do you go from collecting that data to acting on insights that you get from that data? Simple examples. Are you able to identify right now, with a couple of clicks, the 20% of your customers, whether you're a salesperson and you have your install base, your book of business, or whether you are, a VP of sales, are you able to instantly know what are the 20% of customers that potentially might bring you up to 80% of the revenue? And you're gonna have to spend that time accordingly. Second one, how are you understanding the deals that you've missed out on because they stayed with the status quo, re-engaging those customers? What's the best time window to speak to them again? Is it before they go on budget season in October and November? And if so, are you gonna let them go on summer holidays in August without sending them some material so they, at their own time, from the comfort of their home or their vacation or whatever, they can use that information? It's like good wine in Portugal takes time to do. A good sales process takes time to nurture. Another great use case, are you having data that comes from your service and customer success people, that if a customer has filled out the survey and they're really happy, are you calling them and say, thank you so much for sharing that feedback with us? Let me just take this opportunity to ask you, is there something else that we can be doing for you that we're not doing? And maybe you don't even have that solution on offering yet, but you can go to your product team and mention it to them about it. And maybe marketing team is going to pick up on that insight. And again, it's not so much about what the sales team is doing as what does the sales team and other teams in the business have visibility towards. Because when you ring a customer, you're representing the company. And everyone should be having the same level of understanding of the customer and what has happened to them because otherwise you fall short of expectations. I've literally come to work with companies that 1 year ago they told me, oh my God, we're desperate. We have our salespeople right now pitching customers that have a ticket open with our support. And we're looking like a fool, like a buffoon, doing a proposal to them. And then the customer says, look, I was expecting you to tell me what time I can expect for this ticket to be fixed. How long are you going to take me to send a replacement? But if you're here to pitch me something and you're not even delivering on what is really what I've already hired, what trust can I put in you as a company and as an organization that I do business with? So that's really, really essential to operate as a company and to go from data that you not only just collect, but that you act upon that data.
A penguin is walking into our conversation right now, wearing nothing but a tutu and a sombrero. What is that penguin doing here? And what is he saying?
So again, I think that penguin that just walked in is with the tutu and the sombrero. I only come up with two things. One, we live in the age of transparency. That's why the penguin is only using the tutu. And I think we live in the age of transparency. You gotta be very, very transparent with your customer about what you're good at, what you're not good at. You gotta be very transparent at, being upfront with your customer about if your product has any shortcomings. Openly share it with them. You'll gain trust. And if you understand what's the critical decision criteria they have, they might not even be valuing that about your product. So you don't need to say you're great at something that they don't value. Or if you are not great at something they deeply value, it's critical that they learn that since earlier on in the sales process. So I think transparency, again, in the end, B2B selling is not different from people buying from people. It's just that you got to get people together from my team and your team and other people's teams, because it's about stakeholder engagement. So that transparency comes from understanding what really is the motivator for that person to be speaking to you. And if they're just curious and they're top of the funnel, send them something to nurture that journey. If they are more primed and ready to buy, help them understand what happens if you do not buy. Why now and not in 6 months? And basically, asking questions not to direct about your product, but to understand why change, why now, what happens if you really would stay the same. That's regarding the tutu of the penguin and regarding the transparency. Now, I want to address the sombrero as well, because I think that's, such a key point. That penguin has, much more refined taste than I do, for sure. The penguin with the sombrero, I think, really comes here to remind us about the sombrero. You think, great times that, and the great fun that you can have, and, the lighter atmosphere and entertainment. That's what I think about. And when I think of entertainment, I think, best sales teams out there, they are leveraging entertainment into their process. I'll give you an example. Working with a customer right now, their prospecting team is doing videos to capture attention since earlier on. So they put themselves, they use VDR, they put themselves in the bottom right of the screen, and they record the video going into your website and showing how you could optimize their website for call to action, for conversion, for content based on language. And I found fascinating the way they're using video. It's 2 minutes video. And they openly say, you don't know us, you've not worked before. I'm doing this video because I found certain things by looking into your company and your profile that I think you could potentially want to be aware of. And that's how the whole conversation is flowing, generating curiosity, generating interest. And there's a level of entertainment there.
To you out there listening in my eyes, Miguel Arroja always stands out. Thank you so much, Miguel. To me, you are pure sales vitamin, which is what these podcasts are all about, sales vitamin. Thank you so much for giving us our vitaminic intake today. We will see you soon, we hope, and God bless. Godspeed. Stay well.
Thank you for the opportunity, Helga. Keep up the great work.